Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hindu Explainer series. I am Kushagra Goel and very warm greetings from Law Prep Tutorial. So I know and we understand the importance of the newspaper analysis in your daily routine for all the aspirants. Additionally, we also recognize that these are difficult times, and because of that, it's even if we are at home, incidents of how the relatives of employees are affected through the health crisis is also something that affects the functionality of our efforts for you all. It is because of that. So it's not just me who does it everything. There are other people involved, and they have also been somehow or the other affected because of the crisis. And thus, whenever if there is a delay regarding the uploading of the video, or if it is not, it's not just completely on us, it's also other factors that are happening in the society at large. But in that regard, that is still no excuse, and we strive to do it at the earliest for all of you. In that regard, I have updates. So I have almost finished the recordings of the revision series, and hopefully on Monday onwards from the month of September, every important news from September 2020 until this month will be there for you all on the YouTube channel as part of revision. On that note, so I have a lot of you have been having doubts about the TRIPS waiver law, right? So I had already done an in-depth analysis on that on February 28th itself. Okay, so please go and watch that part of the February 28th video. We're going to talk some other aspects of that COVID waiver, TRIPS waiver once again. So make sure that you watch that part, wherein I have listed out the articles that are relevant under the TRIPS agreement, which will be used for this waiver. So that update is there. I am going to cover other parts of it today, so stay tuned for that. Now, going back to the doubts that everyone has. Now, the first doubt that I came across in the comment section was, what is line of credit? Line of credit is basically a preferential treatment for credit. Let's say Kushagra Goel and two other people, Raj and Akshay, go to the bank to get a loan. Now I have a claim for home loan. Raj has a claim for establishing or building or purchase of new medical equipments, and Akshay has a loan for mobile phones. Okay, the RBI provision of 50,000 crore right now was preferential treatment that will be given. All right, so who will get the loan approval first will be granted to the person who is in the most priority lending area, which is Raj, then home, and then someone who needs a mobile. Okay, so that is how banks rationale how they are going to give credit. So this is the line of credit. Now the line of credit is also additionally, so let's say Kushagra Goel and Raj, two individuals of different countries. Let's say Kushagra Goel of India and Raj Kapoor of Sri Lanka. Okay, now they come to SBI. All right, so SBI is an Indian bank, but Raj Kapoor, a businessman of Sri Lanka, can also get credit from our SBI of India, because India and Sri Lanka have a line of credit agreement. So line of credit agreements between different countries is about lending preference being given to businesses outside India. So Raj Kapoor is going to establish some business in Sri Lanka. It is not going to benefit SBI directly. It is not going to benefit customers of SBI directly, but it is still extending that. That is line of credit, a agreement and a assistance that countries provide to the others. Fair enough. Now, another doubt that some students also had was regarding, can a person contest from 2 assembly seats or 3 assembly seats? Yes, you can. I already clarified this doubt on 6th, right? That you can contest from multiple seats in the assembly elections. There is no bar, but you can be member of the house only from 1 seat. All right. So moving on with the newspaper analysis now. So the first news is once again Supreme Court continuing to hear the petition about allocation of oxygen to different states. So two order related to that. So I have already told you this is part of the writ petition of continuing mandamus under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so this news has that much law for us. Then moving on the other news, MK Stalin, the new chief minister of Tamil Nadu, has taken oath, and the person who administered oath to him, Governor Banwari Lal Purohit at Chennai, and he signed from his father's traditional fountain pen. M. Karunanidhi's fountain pen was used to sign the first decisions of his cabinet. Then moving on, the second wave is declining, third can be prevented. The chief principal scientific advisor to Government of India, K. Vijay Raghavan. So that's a person in news that is relevant for you all. That's a position that is very important for you all to keep in mind. Thus, I have highlighted once again. So he has stated that, see, we can prevent the third wave of COVID-19 in India. Earlier, he had made the remark this was inevitable to happen. But now he has stated that, see, it can be prevented if we take all the precautions and follow the guidelines strictly. Then on the left hand side, WhatsApp has dropped the May 15 deadline. So all of you, if you have been using WhatsApp, you would realize that, see, a lot of times a notification had been coming on your screen about the new privacy policy. But if you had not accepted the privacy policy, there is no bar, your accounts will not be suspended. WhatsApp is already under investigation by the Competition Commission of India related to abuse of market dominance. So that is an investigation that is pending and needs to be confirmed. All right. But on this other side, that this was a privacy violation, and the backlash from this has now led WhatsApp to withdraw this. Okay. So different things related to this. Competition Commission of India's investigation, something we have discussed. Secondly, about right to privacy of users online and how private companies cannot push their users to follow or give up their rights, even if they are voluntarily using a service or not. Then moving on the other national news, nothing of real note for us from these pages. More and more about black marketing, different people being left out, vaccinization of India being slow, and cases plateauing at certain places. Then on the editorial front, so as I had highlighted that one of the editorial is related to the TRIPS waiver. So the fig leaf of patent protection has to drop. The US supported patent waiver in the COVID fight has potential to bring much needed global equity. So what are patents? Let's say that I have created a new invention, an invention that uses a device on your wrist to track your blood pressure. Now that's a device I've made. I can get a patent over it. And then, but I don't have the capability to actually mass manufacture this device. So what I will do, I will give the transfer of technology to a manufacturer who will do it. But in that average, I keep the patent, and I will also receive royalty for every sale that person makes. That is the normal routine. But now what a waiver will do, a waiver will make these companies who have these vaccines to compulsorily give up their patent to other manufacturers. So till now, whosoever is the patent holder will control who can manufacture these vaccines. But the waiver will grant other people who want to manufacture the vaccine, whosoever believes they have the capability to do it, can do that. And even if they get a waiver, they will still have to pay a certain royalty fee to the organizations whose product they are doing. This is a temporary provision which the TRIPS agreement grants. India and South Africa had started out that, see, these vaccines need to be produced at a larger pace. The world needs these there are only limited companies who have been able to develop the vaccine, but there are hundreds and hundreds of manufacturers, and we need thousands and millions of vaccines to vaccinate the entire human population. Because as we know, unless everyone is vaccinated, no one is safe from COVID-19. This can keep on happening to all of us. In that regard, different countries are still holding out against this patent waiver. Their argument is that, see, we have invested a lot of money, this will hamper investment, this will hamper innovation, it will set bad precedent. However, all of those have been called in hollow because the technology that these companies have used have for years and years been publicly funded by different organizations, public institutions. Even Covaxin, right? Covaxin that has been indigenously developed in India by Bharat Biotech has taken assistance of the Institute of Virology in Pune and the ICMR. Similarly, all these manufacturers needed the genome sequencing of COVID-19, which was freely made available by China to everyone else. So it shows that these innovations that happen in the world are not always, the motive is not always profit. Profit is the motive of these pharmaceutical companies and not of scientists in general. They will innovate and want to work for humanity even beyond profit margins, which these companies look for all the time. So that is what the editorial talks about, that see, this patent waiver is something that is essential. Now, the patent waiver may not immediately address the manufacturing. It will still take some time for vaccines to be manufactured, but it will at least sidetrack the overall control that Western or richer countries have hold out on vaccines. They are holding vaccines. They've had advanced contracts. So with new manufacturers, different initiatives, different poorer countries will be able to get access to these vaccines. So that is the hope. Now, WTO works on consensus and not majority voting. So everyone needs to agree to this for it to happen. So thus that process may be long drawn out, but as the time is running out, each day the COVID virus continues to stay on, more and more lives are at risk, and that needs to be protected. Another argument that is put forward is that what will be the point of these profits if the world economy itself is so devastated? Who will be able to buy all of this when the economy will be devastated? But these companies don't care about all of that. Humanitarian considerations are not their primary concern. Then on the left-hand side, the other two editorials on the left are about political analysis of situation in Assam and Puducherry, not relevant for us. Then on the second one, rent issues is an ignored COVID stress point. That, see, for migrants, income and ration is something that the government policies have looked, but no one has looked around the concern of rents, that how their rents will be paid, who will provide housing to them, and what about the landlords who rely on rent only as their mechanism to support. So that concern is not reflected much in public policy, which should be addressed at the earliest. Then moving on the other news, so Supreme Court, a petition has been filed that, see, for the laborers who are working as essential work under the Central Vista project, this should be stayed, cause while everyone else has been asked to stay at home, these workers need to be on the ground to keep up with the deadline for Central Vista. That, see, this is not something essential. The lives of these workers are far more important, and thus an early hearing should be granted by the High Court for their concern. Also, the government has defended its allocation to continue on with the Central Vista project during the COVID-19 pandemic, stating that, see, this is also something part of our governance mechanism, and governance has not completely shut down. So thus we know our priorities, and that we have allocated far higher money for healthcare than the Central Vista project. Now that is for the government politics, not relevant for us. Then moving on the other news. So vaccines bought first using PM CARES fund cost more. So government had placed now as RTI applications. It has been revealed that even the central government had to pay different prices. Petitions have been filed and arguments have been made by different state governments that see these pharmaceutical companies are taking us for a ride by making us pay at different states at different prices. This has now been confirmed at the central government level also, that when the government placed first in orders, which were placed using the PM CARES fund, that costed far more than the pricing that it had used when the budget allocated money was used to procure vaccines. The government has stated that, see, they gave us a discounted price when we placed bulk orders. So going by that logic, two things become understandable. That if bulk orders saves money for the exchequer, why is the central government now told the state governments to procure it? Because each state ordering vaccines will be smaller orders and then they will have to pay. The central government could have ordered all of this together if bulk ordering was the cheaper way of saving taxpayers' money. Now that is something that the government needs to look up. Another thing that puts this in highlight is the PM CARES fund itself. This has been now, as the RTI response, that this is a totally non-governmental entity, but the person and the decisions in charge are made by public authorities. So this once again puts into question the standard and the idea of notifying the fund as a non-governmental entity, that a place where public money has been used, money of different people who have donated it through their own will, is headed by decision-making bodies who are public servants, such as the Prime Minister along with 4 other ministers. Then how can this be a non-governmental entity? This once again puts in questions about that. So two things that come up, that if bulk ordering is the method to save exchequer's money, then why has the government given up control on that? And secondly, the PM CARES fund as a non-governmental entity. Then moving on, India for the first time crossed 4,000 people as passing away on a single day due to COVID-19, which shows that the graph in the country is not slowing down at any moment. The country, as per the Hindu, this is claimed that we recorded 3,95,000 new cases. In certain other publications, it is claimed India recorded 4 lakh above. Indian government doesn't directly declare how many COVID positive cases are there. Each state government announces, and that needs to be collated. Then moving on the international news. So there is no new update, but continuing stories on the same things that are important for us. So the JCPOA talks have now intensified. Probably a deal will be struck. Hopefully, if it is, because that will be beneficial for everyone and world peace also. Plus, it has now been claimed that the attack on Speaker of Maldives Parliament and former President Mohammad Nasheed was a deliberate act of terrorism, and that this is something that should not happen at any cost. That earlier it was seen as an accident, but now reports have come that this was a deliberate attack. The president of Maldives has called this attack on democracy, Ibrahim Mohammed Solih. So that needs to be seen, who claims and why this has been done. All of that is not clear immediately. Then moving on, in Myanmar also, the action against the junta continues in different forms. Certain people are doing it peacefully, some have taken the violent route, but this shows that no one wants to accept the military rule in Myanmar. Hopefully the Tatmadaw listens to what the ASEAN members and everyone else has been calling for, restoration of democracy at the earliest. Then moving on the economic news, move fast on waiver of COVID-19. That is also the statement by WTO chief, that is Anzongi Okonjo Iweala. She is the new chief of WTO. She has just taken charge and she has claimed that, see, this is a warmly welcome movement, and US supporting this waiver will be great for affordable, quick access to vaccines for developing nations. So this shows that, see, this step is in the right direction and should be moved on at a faster pace. Then on the sporting side, Indian BCCI yesterday announced the 20-member team which will be facing New Zealand in the World Test Championship final, England, along with the Test series also. And apart from that, on the sporting news, nothing of real note for us. On that note, I'll conclude for the day. Take care, everyone. And in today's newspaper, 2 new things. So first, watch February 28 video in which we have talked about the TRIPS waiver. the law related to that, then watch today's bit about it, continuing mandamus petitions in Supreme Court, and lastly, updates in other national news related PM Pairs Fund, vaccine pricing, and overall the situation in the in international world regarding Afghan crisis, JCPOA talks, and the situation in Myanmar, which shows that these three last topics continue to remain important for everyone, and you cannot skip them as part of your current affairs preparation. So thank you so much. Take care, everyone. See you all tomorrow.